Alright. Jesus Christ. Okay. Piss and Vinegar day 19. Fucking hell. Feedback loop. Arm wrestling day, last day of the week. And then I take my Lord's Day off. Yeah, my arm wrestling day. I've decided that for arm wrestling day, I'm going to start having a colorful day. Just because why not? Doing my side pressure, getting my Todd Hudgens work in. If you're going to do side pressure, take it light. Start very light. It is extremely painful on the elbows. And if you haven't done it before, you could injure yourself. You could break your humerus. You could tear a ligament or tendon. So if you want to get into arm wrestling, you want to start doing side pressure, first spend about 6 months getting your hand and wrist strong before you start getting into the side pressure. And even then, if you're, if you have a normal size hand or big hands, don't do this shit. This shit hurts real bad and it's not good for your elbows. I do it because I have really small hands and I have to do this in order to get some sort of advantage. So, yeah, don't do side pressure unless you absolutely have to. And if you really have to, or you are really serious about arm wrestling, which I'm not even that serious, like I'm never going to be a great arm wrestler. I just do it because I enjoy the training. Take it slow because that shit will hurt. And I've noticed, however, with side pressure training, it actually has started to sort of make my elbow extension less prominent. I have very hypermobile elbows, among with all my joints being hypermobile. And I find that now that I've been doing side pressure for a while, my right elbow isn't as hypermobile anymore. My left is still super hypermobile because I only do side pressure on my right arm, which you'll see in a second. But because I'm getting all this kind of, I guess, cartilage or sort of scarring in my elbow from doing side pressure training, my elbows are actually becoming normal people elbows. Arm wrestlers end up getting negative range of motion. And now I'm doing it on my left side. And you can see, trying the same weight on my left side, I don't train my left side with side pressure, and I can't even fucking budge it. Like, I don't even know, my body doesn't even know what position to get it in, let alone does it know how to move that weight. So I drop it from 36 kilos, which is what I'm doing with my right arm, down to, I think it was 20 kilos, and I barely got like 3 reps. So there's a huge difference between my right and left arm now. My right elbow has got so much more stability than my left. So the only, having a stroke, I see that being as one of the benefits of side pressure is that if you have hypermobile elbows, it actually cure that for you, if you can do it on both arms. Now I'm doing behind the back wrist curls. This is not so much for arm wrestling, although this would help. And I'm doing it with fat grips specifically for arm wrestling to get it more in the fingers and wrist. But these are really good for training your flexors. I mean, it's not specifically for hypertrophy, but it definitely works really well for hypertrophy. I mean, arm wrestlers all have huge forearms. So, yeah, I'm doing these. These are brutal. And then I do a drop set. If you don't really care about the hands and wrists getting bigger, because, some guys want their wrists to stay small so that they get the illusion of a larger forearm relative to their wrist. I personally want my wrist to get bigger. And my wrist musculature and tendons have grown about an inch since I started doing arm wrestling. So, and that's partially because people that train their forearms don't train their hands and wrists with it. And the way you train your hands and wrists with it is rather than doing static holds like, a pull-up or whatever where you're just training your grip, you want to cup your wrists in, and that way you'll get some wrist and fingertip development through fat grips. So, yeah, cup your wrists in on different movements, do some flexion work and get those big wrists, get those big strong fingers and big forearms. I get it. I understand people who want small wrists so they have big forearms from an illusionary perspective, but I think big forearms and big wrists look cool too. It gives you that kind of the Hulk look. Like the Hulk doesn't have small wrists. The Hulk has big wrists, big forearms, big everything. You want everything to just be big. Why would you want small anything? Alright, moving on to some unilateral cup. So this, I need to start making some new arm wrestling tools. This one's not that great. I'm using a fucking car seat belt to make this tool, and it was digging into my hand and literally like cutting into my hand because it was kind of sharp in a way. Because this is 30 kilos going into my hand. So I'm gonna have to try and make a better suited tool for the job. Really fucking hurt, but anyway. I do a drop set. I put my glove on, put my Michael Jackson gloves on so that the car belt or car strap or whatever didn't dig into my hand too much. But yeah, I'm gonna maybe go on a YouTube rabbit hole and look at some third world arm wrestlers who have built some handles, basically. I mean, Devin Lorat, the most famous arm wrestler there is, has the multi-spinner, which is a handmade handle, so maybe I'll look into that. Although last time I tried using that, it really hurt my wrist because it's super unstable. It either targets your pronator or targets your supination. And if you don't know what arm wrestling is, then you won't know what that means. But basically, pronation is when you turn your thumb towards yourself, and supination is when you bring your palm towards yourself. So that's the best way of thinking it. And then I was just writing down to make a better implement or start making some more arm wrestling tools, because yeah, this one's not quite cutting it. And then I forgot to edit this part out. My dog, I don't know what he wants. I can never tell what this dog wants. Hey, I will tell you though, if you haven't got a dog, get a dog. Dogs are cool. I haven't had a dog since I was 12. I recently took this dog on from my sister, and at first I was like the typical dad. I was like, fuck no, I don't want a dog. Don't give me the dog. And then 2 days later, I'm like, all right, this is my dog now. This is my little son. So if you don't have a dog, it will improve your life. This little lad has definitely made me happier, and is good for keeping me accountable. Makes me wake up early because he wakes up at fucking 6 o'clock needing to go do shits. I play tug of war with him, which is really good sort of grip strength training. Go for runs with him, which is good cardio. So there's plenty of benefits to a dog. Don't listen to these natalist freaks that are like, don't have children, don't have a dog. Have kids, have a dog. Ideally have both. Anyway, rambling on, get a dog. Onto my left arm, same thing with my left arm, was digging into my fucking hand. Had to put my Michael Jackson gloves back on. So yeah, tomorrow I'll figure out some better way of doing these spinning handle wrist curls. I would ideally like a spinning handle and then I don't know what you call these. I mean, there's the spinning handle, which is where the rotational aspect is in the middle of the handle, and then this one, the rotational aspect is on the outside of the handle, putting it more into your fingers. And they do both. The rotation outside of the fingers will hit your the tension outside of the handle will put it more into your fingers, and then the rotation in the inside of the handle will put it more into your wrist and forearm. So realistically, I should have both. So I'll look into making some shit. Now I'm doing some back pressure. Again, if you don't know what arm wrestling is, a lot of this shit will not make any sense to you, but basically in arm wrestling, you want to train your brachialis and your brachyradialis in a very short range of motion in order to be able to get strong in the range of motion that counts. You don't need full range of motion, a strong hammer curl necessarily, because in arm wrestling, you're not doing a full range of motion. You're trying to pull the guy off center, not like do a full bicep curl. So it's very sport specific. Doing some 1 rep maxes, got 3 on my right, 0 on my left, and then I do 3 sets of 5 on my right, and then no sets on my left. As you'll see with a lot of these movements, or some of these movements, I only do it on my right arm, because the left, I really don't care too much about it. I'm right-handed, and most people are right-handed, so I do some stuff on my left hand and left arm, but mostly I do right-handed stuff. And I also train my right hand every day. I train my right thumb, and I train my right pronation every single day to get increased kind of proprioception, or not proprioception, increased central nervous system efficiency through my right hand. I just want to get my right hand as strong as I can. Devin Lorat, again, I reference him a lot for arm wrestling, because who doesn't? He's been training his right arm only for the last, I think, 4 years now, and he's totally metamorphosized into one of the greatest arm wrestlers of our current generation. He already was, but he got even better. And I mean, he got some crazy results, like his forearm literally grew in length. Fuck off. His right forearm, the bones literally grew, like from the amount of increased blood and all the. I mean, I don't really know. I don't know the science behind it. The only thing I could speculate is that because there's such an increase in blood in that area, because he's training his right arm every day, like 4 times a day, potentially he got more nutrients to his bones, and the osteoblasts were able to maybe make his elbow more dense and thus giving him the illusion of a longer arm. I don't know what it is, but he definitely grew his arm in length. So that is some real freakish X-Men type shit. So I've been training my right forearm pretty much every day for like 2 years now, and it shows. My left forearm is about an inch smaller than my right forearm. So training every day increases the nuclei, increases the sarcoplasm, it also increases your capillary mass, and it might increase your bone density. I mean, it very likely will increase your bone density, but it might increase the bone length. Who knows? Anyway, finishing off, again ranting, but you know, golden tidbits to take into consideration here. Finishing off with some forearm extensions. I started off way too heavy. I calculated the weight wrong. I did 35 kilos, which I was able to do for 9 reps to my surprise, but I was supposed to do 30 kilos. So anyway, all good. I did 3 drop sets to overcompensate for how heavy the first set was. And then yeah, that's my arm wrestling day. Everything basically the same as ever. I don't really rotate exercises for arm wrestling just because I'm still relatively new to it. I've only been doing it for about 2 years or so, 3 years maybe, on and off. And then I'm checking out if I have a pronator muscle yet, which I sort of do. You can kind of see it popping in, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, see you guys for more bodybuilding type training again tomorrow in Piss and Vinegar. Bye bye.